Welcome to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Later in the show, Loren, Bahe, and Dari Nichols will tell us about upcoming programs at the Phoenix Indian Center and Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona. And Sumi, Tohan, Native Health Certified Diabetes Care and Education Specialist, will give us tips for healthy eating during the holidays. But right now, Susan Levy talks with Madera Winters, Public Health Nurse Case Manager at Native Health.
I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with us today is Madera Winters, Public Health Nurse Case Manager at Native Health. She's here to talk to us about domestic violence during the holidays. Madera, it is such an honor to have you here, so welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Madera, and I am Navajo from the Nashchitty Sheep Springs area, New Mexico. My clans are Ashehe, Nashle, Bilagana, Bashaschen, Kia Ani, Doshache, Bilagana, Deshanale. I have been a nurse since 2019. I came to Native Health as a public health nurse working with people struggling with substance abuse, but now I work with Native people who struggle with domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, all which contributes to our missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis.
So I take it you love what you do.
I really do. I have a passion for it because I am a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault myself. So I'm very passionate about helping other people.
I'm sorry to hear that. I know that's probably really difficult to talk about, but I'm glad you're here and you have experience, and I think that probably resonates with people better and that you can understand what they're going through. So I'm glad you're at Native Health, and I'm glad you're doing the work that you do, and I know you make a huge difference. So can you tell us, what are the domestic violence programs that are available at Native Health?
So we have a grant through IHS to meet the needs of our Indigenous community in case management. I also provide mobile advocacy, helping people leave safely, and to address sexual assault needs. I don't just provide a crisis number. I'll educate clients on their rights and options, and I'll walk them through the process of what they need to do at the moment to get to safety. And then when they're ready for more, I don't like to force anybody into any decisions that they're not ready to make. So I just like to provide that information for them and arm them with information and kind of support them as we go. I do also have emergency kits here for people who are ready to leave for themselves and for their children. Plus, we also have counselors who specialize in trauma. We also have a medical team and a dental team to help with the physical needs of abuse. We also have other resources such as community health and wellness that offer great parenting support for people with children who also may be needing that service. And then also we have legal here on Wednesdays that help. And then we also have At Works, which I refer to all these programs to help my people get on their feet. And then just really make sure that we provide immediate safety plus intermediate safety and then their long-term goals. I also have a talking circle that I host here to help victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. It's more of a peer support group with a cultural lens. We also do provide perpetrator classes. So if there's a domestic violence perp who is court-ordered for treatment, we do also supply that as well.
So under the grant, is this open to, do they have to have tribal ID or CIB, or is it if anybody identifies as Indigenous, they can participate? And is it for men and women? And is there an age?
We do screen for domestic violence here at Native Health starting at the age of 14. I did open up to men because men are also becoming missing and murdered at higher rates now than the women. So I do help men and women. Majority of my clients are women, though. Also members of the LGBTQ two-spirit community as well. So those are the people that I help. I don't help with just domestic violence, but sexual assault and sex trafficking. I do networking with other coalitions and state and federal agencies as well to meet those needs.
So you have to be 14, or if
yes.
Somebody's experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault younger, like a 12 or 13-year-old, are they able to come to you, or do they need to be 14?
We do, but I do also network with our social workers and really make sure that we are within our legal responsibilities and boundaries to help this child and also the parents, because if the child is experiencing this and they're coming and saying that, we also need to bring the parents in, unless it's the parents that are the perpetrators, and then we have to pull our resources together to figure out what we're going to do to help this child get to safety.
And did you say they do have to have tribal ID or CIB, or they can self-identify for the IHS?
Usually I start with self-identification because nobody, and then I look in the computer to see if they're already established here as a client of Native Health. But if they're not, I still can see you. They don't have to be established here with any of the other departments. If you tell me you're Native and you tell me where your tribe is at, I like to know that just because I can pull resources from your tribe as well. So my main concern is just to get you to safety. And if you're not Native, I'm not going to turn you away. I will also provide resources and try to help you as much as possible. Also, I just can't add those people to my continued caseload or my healing circle.
Okay. So let's go back and talk about what is domestic violence. What constitutes that, and how do you know if you're a victim of that?
Domestic violence encompasses acts that let one person have more power and control over another that negatively impacts the victim. This can be physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional, psychological. It could be stalking, cyberbullying, spiritual abuse, cultural abuse. It encompasses everything that instills fear and a loss of autonomy over their victim.
Do the rates increase during the holidays? Is this a stressful time for people? And do you see that happen a lot?
Yes, it can. The holidays are supposed to be a good time with family, feasts, friends, joy, but it can be very stressful, especially with the economic crunch that we're in right now. Living expenses are on the rise, and the financial stresses, buying gifts, extra expenses, food and travel. There's stress from family also, and planning can cause someone who is already volatile to be pushed over the edge. Time off as well as celebration can increase drinking or options to drink, and that can lower people's inhibitions and impair judgment.
So how much do the rates increase? Like a lot during the holidays, like 50%, or?
I didn't find any exact statistics because people don't report immediately during the holidays. We usually don't hear about the reports until after the holidays, and then people start coming forward around January.
Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, actually.
I mean, you hear like people call you and say it's getting worse, it's the holidays, or they're afraid?
It's mostly from reports, and then also my partnerships with shelters. The shelters tend to get fuller around January, February.
So I know you mentioned some of the stressors. What do you think is the biggest stressor, or just the holidays in general?
I think it's overall everything that I listed. It's family, it's the pressure of being there and traveling, and then the added cost of food. And then also sharing gifts. A lot of people feel the pressure to buy gifts for their entire family and their kids. And then on top of that added element of drinking and pressure. So it can create somebody who's already got an aptitude for anger and lashing out to take that out on the, I would say, person that they have most control over.
So how do you know if you're being abused? I mean, do you think, is it just somebody being mean to you? How would you tell somebody or what to look for if they're being abused?
It's a cycle. So if you start to feel uncomfortable, or you don't have that communication with the person that loves you, if they're hitting you, if they're downgrading you, gaslighting you, there's so many different things. If they're isolating you from your friends and family and telling you can't be with your friends and family over the holidays, or coming up with excuses. Financial. So if they're taking the finances away from you, if they're not allowing you access to money or food stamps, basic resources, those are all reasons to be concerned for abuse. There's a lot of women who, he's a really nice guy when he's not drinking, but when he drinks, he becomes a different person. If he's not addressing those alcohol issues or substance use issues, or even just the fact that he's being verbally or physically assaulted towards you, and you mention it, and they don't want to fix it, or they don't see a problem, that can be abusive as well. So if you don't know, always reach out and talk to somebody and just say, I'm not sure if I'm being abused or not, and then we can sit down and talk about it, or you can call a crisis line and they can talk to you about it.
Okay. Now, I know you mentioned a little bit about control and things like taking your food stamps card and different things like that. So do you think it would be a potential issue if somebody was looking at your phone and always had access and looking at all your text messages and kept control of that, or if you wanted to go out shopping and they had an app on there to track you? Are those things that people should be worried about? Like if I'm running to the grocery store and my husband wants to know where I am and where the receipt is, and, asking me why I stopped somewhere? Are those things? Are those red flags?
That's very controlling. Those are that go along with that, not isolating your family and your friends, so they can isolate you, and then put those restraints on you of wanting to go places with you. A lot of times abusers will come to the clinic with the victims so that they cannot speak out and let somebody know that they're being abused. That control of, yes, looking through your phone, or why are you talking to him, or just being extra vigilant about who you are communicating with and what your conversations are about, and not letting you come to doctor's appointments or to the bank or any place without them. That is definitely abuse, especially if they're stopping you from being friends with somebody or communicating with your family as well.
So if I were to come into the clinic and I brought my spouse or partner or friend or whatever, how would you know, if I'm the patient, what would I do to try to get help? So if I didn't want them to know that I needed help.
So here at Native Health, we are starting to implement a program of a way that you can reach out to help. So you can always ask your medical assistant if you can go to the restroom. Once you're in the restroom, you can allow your medical assistant to know that you're in an abusive situation and your abuser is in the room. That will start a workflow process in which that medical assistant will then go to our resources, our social worker, me, let the doctor know, and then also let security know. And then we will find a way to get you separated. So the doctor or the medical assistant will then say, hey, we need some additional labs. Can you come with me? We can get you over to a place of safety and then begin our questioning of, okay, what services do you need immediately? Are you ready to leave right now? Are you not ready to leave right now? To kind of help gauge what resources you have available, what resources we need to help you with. And then also, if you're not ready, if you just wanted to let us know and you're not really, really ready to leave right now, we can always give you what we call a shoe card. It's a little bitty card that has resources and information on it that's easily hidden in a pocket or a shoe that you can use. But if you are ready to leave, then we will keep you separated and then ask that perpetrator to exit the building.
Do you find, I know you've done this a long time and I know you're passionate and I know you do such a great job and make such a huge difference. Do you find that there's different tipping points for everybody? Like one person might say, you know what, when he hits me again, I'm out of here. And somebody else might say, you know, when he's drinking again, I'm going to leave. Does everybody have a different point at which they're ready to exit and get help?
On average, it takes a person 7 times before they're actually ready to leave the situation. The cycle of abuse really needs to be understood and controlled and talked about. It doesn't just start out as direct abuse. Like there's this honeymoon phase where they're putting you on a pedestal, they're buying you gifts, they're really taking care of you and grooming you, and then you start to see the volatile side of them, and that leads up to that anticipation and this blowout where you get into that physical abuse. And so, yeah, it's really important that we talk about that and we recognize that. And that's why I really like to arm my clients, whether they're ready to leave, whether they're not ready to leave. I get a lot of referrals from our counselors here to really help somebody process, are they being abused, and questioning and validating their circumstances, and then also giving them the options that they have before them of when they're ready to leave, when they're ready to leave. I don't force anybody to leave, even though I would really like for them to leave at that moment. Sometimes it's not possible. It takes a lot of planning.
Do you find a lot of people just never leave and they tolerate it?
Unfortunately, that does happen, and sometimes it does end in death, and that also contributes to our missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis that we have going on. So, yeah, there's some people that leave, and I feel like they just don't have the support system that they need to leave. So that's why here at Native Health, we have a lot of resources to help somebody in every aspect of their life.
So what should somebody do if you think your friend is being abused? In your perspective that you think, your best friend's being abused, would you talk to them? Would you gently leave information? Would you take them to an appointment? How should you handle it and not put them in danger?
First off, find a safe place to talk to them and just open that line of communication. Let them know that you're worried about them, that you think that there might be abuse going on. And initially, they may not open up to you. They'll probably come up with excuses or, I'm just clumsy, I fell, those kinds of things. But just let them know, like, hey, I'm here if you need me. And then it's always good to keep a list of resources by your side in case they do call you and say, hey, I am experiencing violence in my home and I'm ready to talk about it. Then you can have that list of references of services and crisis numbers for them, so you can help support them. But whatever you do, don't confront the abuser, because that could potentially cause the victim to be put hurt, into a situation that's worse for them behind closed doors. Yeah.
So is it just best then just to say, like, I'm here for you, anything you need, I'm here to support you, I can help you, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get you to safety.
Yes,
and really
most
just
definitely.
offer support. And when they're ready, if and when they're ready, then help them.
Knowledge is power. So just arm yourself with resources. You can always do a quick search on the internet, whether you're the victim or you're worried about a loved one. A quick search on the internet will bring up all kinds of crisis numbers, especially if you look for your local area. If you put domestic violence or what do you do for abuse in your area or sexual assault, if you type that into the internet, again, in a safe place, it'll bring up all kinds of crisis numbers. You can also call 211 if you don't have access to the internet and you don't have a good memory. 211 will provide you lots of resources as well. And then also, if you're experiencing a mental crisis, always remember 988. So 211 and 988.
211 is to get help. 988 is suicide prevention, correct?
Yep.
Madera, in terms of stress, is it always a good idea, one, to eat well, sleep well, eat well, sleep well, exercise? Will that reduce stress for a lot of people, like a lot of good self-care? Or is it more than that?
Those are all great ideas for any types of stress, but for the holidays, make sure that you plan and communicate and set boundaries with your family and each other. If people are going to be partying and you know that there's going to be alcohol and drinking, maybe not go, or maybe you'll limit your time there. With family, coordinate gift giving exchanges. Maybe you can do like a white elephant that's reduced cost to reduce burden. Instead of trying to buy presents for everybody, sometimes that's a really good option. Or maybe you can focus less on the presents and more on that communication with your children and your friends. Holiday parties, board games, card games, movies, those types of things can be a little bit cheaper than, just focusing on presents in general. But some of these things can, just planning can really reduce your stress levels during the holidays, and making sure you let your families know some boundaries of what you can and can't do and will attend.
That's good. Yeah, as long as you give people, I think, advance notice and plan it in advance, that would help. So I know we're pretty much out of time. Can you tell us how somebody can reach you?
Yeah, so you can call here at Native Health, 602-279-5262, and just ask for the domestic violence case manager, or you can email me at mwinters@nachci.com. But
it's M as in Madera.
Yeah.
M as in Mary. M as in Mary. So M Winters, M WIN as in Nancy, T as in Tom, ERS as in Sam, at N as in Nancy, ACHCI.com. And it was 602-279-5262. And what's your extension?
12012.
Okay. And then people can just call you, email you, and then you'll respond and start to help them, right?
Yeah, and pretty much everybody here knows me. I work really closely with behavioral health, dental, and also medical. So if you call the number here for incoming and just say, I need to speak to somebody about domestic violence, they can refer you to me.
Okay, awesome. Madera, thank you. Thanks for talking to us about stress, the holidays, and domestic violence. And let's hope it does not increase this year.
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
Stay safe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, Loren, Bahe, and Dari Nichols will tell us about upcoming programs at the Phoenix Indian Center and Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. For more information, call 602-279-5262 or visit our webpage at nativehealthphoenix.org.
Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm Susan Levy, and in the studio with us today is Loren Bahe and Dari Nichols, who are with the Phoenix Indian Center and the Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona. Welcome, Loren and Dari. It's nice to see you both again.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Hi, thank you for having us.
So before we get started, Loren, can you tell us briefly a little bit about yourself?
Yes, oyate shikero shadene dona in the shlinigi nas ajitachini and shle torichini bashishin kitlichini dashiche arot lashe dashanale she Loren Bahe nishia look antia shinasha. I just introduced myself in Navajo. My name is Loren Bahe. I'm one of the prevention specialists here with the Phoenix Indian Center and Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. And Dari?
Hi, I'm Dari Nichols. I am a prevention prevention coordinator with Phoenix Indian Center. I'm kind of a new kid on the block there, so I'm super excited to be here and be a part of this interview.
Well, welcome. All right, so these first questions are for Loren. So Loren, tell us a little bit, what is Phoenix Indian Center and the Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona?
So the Phoenix Indian Center is probably one of the oldest American Indian nonprofit of its kind. It was founded back in 1947. And so it's been about like 76 years now with this organization here in the Valley. So the Phoenix Indian Center serves the community and the culture with relevant youth services, languages and cultural revitalization programs, education, and also workforce. As far as for the Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona, it's a community-led coalition that one of its goals is to sustain the coalition and also to address the prevention of suicide, underage drinking, and substance use of marijuana, prescription drugs, using the culture to improve the overall well-being of American Indian youth and their families.
I know you guys do a lot of different programs, right?
Yes, we do.
I always see all your stuff, and you're out there doing all kinds of programs and gonas and all kinds of stuff. So I know that you've got a program coming up. I think it's called Parenting in Two Worlds. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So what is that?
Yeah, so the Parenting in Two Worlds is a 10-week-long evidence-based program. It is designed for parents and guardians and also grandparents of American Indian youth to explore ways of communicating with their children and also with their families. The workshop was developed by American Indian parents and their families to increase the parenting skills, using culture, and also increasing communication with the children and other adults, and also hopefully to prevent and reduce the risky behaviors amongst youth.
Is this online or in person?
Currently, all of our workshop right now with Parenting in Two Worlds is on virtual.
Okay.
And we hope to come back in person starting in January.
Okay.
So somewhere in January, we'll be coming back in person and meeting everyone, and we're pretty excited for that.
So how long are these workshops? You said they're 10 weeks, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
and how long are they? Like, is it every week for like an hour or 2 hours?
So we have either Tuesdays classes, Thursday classes, and Wednesday classes, and they happen once a week from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So every workshop is going to be online, as I mentioned, over Zoom, and the parents will receive a supply kit through their mail along with the booklets, just for them to help them follow along with the workshops.
Okay, so if the parents want to participate, you said it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 5:30 online, right? So what if I wanted, I don't know, I'm going to probably throw you off. What if I wanted to participate Tuesday this week and Thursday next week? Can I do that? Is it interchangeable?
Unfortunately, it's not at the moment.
Okay.
Once you register for the Tuesdays classes, the classes are going to happen every Tuesday.
Okay.
And also for the Thursdays classes.
Are separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're completely separate.
And you said it's just for the parents, so it's not for the kiddos with the parents, right?
No,
It's just the parents?
It's just for the parents. However, we do have another program, the Living in Two Worlds, specifically for middle school age youth, to talk about the risky behaviors and stuff.
Okay, and when is that starting?
Currently, we have them in the schools through Osborne District. However, we're planning to have a Living in Two Worlds winter camp.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, starting in December.
And where's that going to be?
That's going to be...
In person or virtual?
That's going to be in person.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm sure more info to come, right?
Yes.
On that one. And you said that's only for middle schoolers? So is that like 5th to 8th grade or?
Yes, somewhere around that age grade.
Okay.
So around like middle school, we'll even accept some high schoolers as well.
Okay, and okay, so what's a risky behavior for kids?
Yeah, so
I'm gonna throw you off. So yeah, what's a risky behavior for kids?
So the risky behaviors for these kids, they're at the age of 12 years old. Their brain is still developing, and they're more impulsive, right? So they're more likely to get into possibly into trouble. So the Living in Two Worlds doesn't necessarily go into a whole great deal of like drugs and alcohol education. It's more of practicing how to say no and how to avoid those risky situations. If they are in those situations, they know how to get out of those situations.
Okay. And then what kind of cultural component is involved with that? And the Living in Two Worlds and the Parenting in Two Worlds?
Yes. So the Living in Two Worlds, we really try to identify, draw off of their identity or even forming their identity. And we encourage the youth to go and ask questions to their elders, to their parents, and just exploring their culture. And we want to develop that culture, their values, as a way of prevention. So, which we try to say, like, culture is prevention. And the same way with the Parenting in Two Worlds, we draw off of their traditions, norms, and their values to structure their house functions and through their communication, opening doors of communications in their home.
And how long have you all been doing this?
Oh, I've been.
I know you've been here a long time, but it's been going on for years and years, right?
Yes.
And super successful. It's an evidence-based program, right?
Yes.
So we know it works, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you, do you have like a very favorite success story that you've seen in either Living in Two Worlds or Parenting in Two Worlds that you like think about at night and go, wow, my work makes a difference?
So the Parenting in Two Worlds, oh my gosh, I have a lot of parents come to me and tell me they're really thankful for their workshop, and they have really improved their communications with their teenagers and also drawing those boundaries. And some of the parents have vocalized, I was a passive parent through my communication, and now I'm utilizing my assertiveness and really drawing down some of the boundaries, but also using my culture to strengthen that communication amongst my children.
That's awesome. And how about some of the kids? I know they've gone on. I've come across some of the kids that have been in your program, and then they've either volunteered or interned, or we've hired them here. And I know they mentioned what a great program that is. So hats off to you guys, and that they really found it helpful. And do you hear those stories as well?
Yes, we do. A lot of the kids, just seeing the amazement in their eyes when they're talking about culture, when you're providing songs and prayers, or maybe even them learning how to make drums or maybe making gourds, really makes that inspiration in their hearts, and they really explode with that, and they're like, oh, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. And I've seen kids have really stand up to some of their bullies, or maybe even stand up to some of the people that were pressuring them, and they would utilize a lot of the Living in Two Worlds real strategies.
Okay, so for the Parenting in Two Worlds, it's a virtual workshop, right? I want to make sure I understand. It's open to parents, guardians, and grandparents, right?
Yes.
Okay, and doesn't matter their age, right? So it doesn't matter the age of the children, correct?
For the Parenting in Two Worlds, it's kind of hard for me to put the age range on that. We do mostly focus on like middle school and above, like preteens and above. However, we had parents who had infants and other children who really benefited from the program as well, where they were like, all right, I'm planning these rules. I'm going to be I'm in the planning process, and we're going to begin structuring our rules and our norms in our house and getting the whole family communicating.
Okay. But a lot of it's geared for parents of preteens, middle school preteens, and young adults, right?
Yeah.
So parenting. Okay. And then is Parenting in Two Worlds recognized by like the Arizona court system or Department of Child Safety for any reunification or parenting requirements?
As for the court system, yes, we are recognized by the court system. We have parents who have come to our workshops and they get a certificate of completion. And on the certificate of completions, we do indicate on there the number of hours that they've completed with the workshop. Most likely those certificate of completions are usually accepted by the court.
Very cool. You guys do a great job. Okay. All right. Now I've got a couple of questions for Dari. Get your answers. All right. So I know you all are doing a parenting and health research study with ASU, the Global Center for Applied Health Research. What is this?
So yes, we are GCAR, the Global Center for Applied Health Research, and the Phoenix Indian Center are collaborating to test the effectiveness of parenting in two worlds. So Healthy Families is a program that is basic parenting and guardian topics, such as access to health care, strengthening the family health practices, CPR and first aid, things like that. And then, so the families are randomly selected once they enroll. And so we really don't know which workshop the family will be participating in. But the difference between what our normal Parenting in Two Worlds workshop does and what the study does is that a teenager in the household between the ages of 12 and 17 will also participate in the workshop with the parent.
Okay, so that's the difference in this one. Mm-hmm. So it's the youth or the young adult with the parents.
Correct.
Okay. And then it's a blind study, obviously, since they don't know which study they're going into.
Correct. And we'll be testing the effectiveness of Parenting in Two Worlds, and then also to see if Parenting in Two Worlds actually does help the youth with their risky behavior. So we want to see if it does, if it actually does work, which it does, I believe, but we're going to see.
Sounds like it does from what Loren said.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got a lot of
for a while. A
lot of good anecdotal, comments and things like that.
We're very excited about it.
I read somewhere that you're looking for childcare workers, and so what do you need childcare workers for?
Well, because these families will typically have younger children, right? Mm-hmm. Younger than the age of 12. So any families that participate in the study with us that have children 12 and under, we're going to provide child care right in the same building, right next door, in a room conjoined to the room where the parents will be attending the workshop. We're going to provide child care for them. So we're looking for child care workers, someone who has who is able to pass a background check and who has a fingerprint clearance card.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So these are obviously in person because you're looking for people.
Oh yes, and that's another difference. We want to see faces. So we're gonna have people sitting in seats. And super excited about that. So
it's nice to be back with people, right?
Yeah, it will be up close and personal. So they're going to be seeing me every week.
So when does this start?
It starts. So we kick off November 28th.
Ooh, like soon.
Yeah, it's coming up. So I say to everyone who can hear me out there, if you have a teenager between the ages of 12 and 17, sign up. We're looking for you. We want all of you. Come on, sign up. We want you to come and join us.
And how many weeks is it?
It will be 10 weeks. So 10 weeks.
Same as the other program?
Yes.
Okay,
10
and
weeks.
what day of the week?
Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So you'll either have a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night.
So same as I asked Loren, I assume it's not interchangeable. It's like you're either a Tuesday or you're a Wednesday, correct? You can't go back and forth.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. And what time of the evening is this?
So our workshops will be held from 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay. And at Phoenix Indian Center, right?
Correct. Second floor.
4520 North Central Avenue.
That's okay. Yep, exactly. 4520.
We used to be there.
Yep, Suite 250.
Yep, we were with you guys.
Yep, we'll be waiting for you.
Okay. So my last question for both of you is, how can people learn more about Phoenix Indian Center and the Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona? Whoever wants to answer.
Oh, yes. People can visit our website at the phoenixindiancenter.org, or even we do have Facebook. You can find the uicaz.org, our Urban Indian Coalition of Arizona Facebook page, or even our Phoenix Indian Center Facebook page as well. We'll have a lot of different flyers on there, or give us a call at 602-264-6768, and you can ask for Loren Bahe, or you can ask for Dari as well.
Yep, Dari Nichols. And you can also come and see us in person. We're always there. The ladies up front are amazing, and we're a fountain of resources, so please stop by and see us anytime.
You guys are awesome. You're at 4520 North Central, right across from Central High School, convenient parking in the back.
Absolutely.
Take the elevator up, get off on the second floor, and they're right. Melinda's right there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Actually, we've got Linda and Yvonne up front now. So.
Okay. All right. You guys do a great job. So we really appreciate you coming down to take your precious time to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you for
and
having
get the
us.
word out. And
Yes,
let's hope you get a lot of families enrolled into that program. I know you all do an amazing job, and we love working with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next, Sumi Tohan will give us tips for healthy eating during the holidays. Support for KRDP 90.7 FM comes in part from Native Health, with 2 locations in Phoenix, 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road, and at 2423 West Dunlap Avenue. Native Health is also located in Mesa at 777 West Southern Avenue, near the corner of Southern Avenue and Extension Road. Native Health's patient enrollment specialist can help you enroll, renew, or update your access information. This can be done in person, on the phone, or Zoom, days, nights, or weekends. It's fast, easy, and can make a difference in keeping your healthcare coverage. For more information, call 602-285-9492. Welcome back to Native Talk Arizona, presented by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. Sumi Tohan is Native Health Certified Diabetes Care and Education Specialist, who is in the studio with us today to tell us about diabetes. Hello, Sumi. It's an honor to have you on our show again.
Hi, it's so great to be here again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get started, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So I've been Native Health's dietitian for about a year now, working on the diabetes programs. And prior to that, I was working up in northern Arizona and have kind of moved around a little bit from Alaska to Philadelphia to DC. And my goal is just to take all the information that I've learned working with a variety of different people, really helping people overcome the challenges that come with managing diabetes.
And to start off with your current role here at Native Health, can you tell us about the diabetes programs here?
Sure. So we really focus on one-on-one counseling and follow-up. I really try to see patients who are living with diabetes every 3 months so that we can also keep up with their lab work. So typically, if you're seeing a primary care provider here at Native Health, you can get a referral to see me for nutrition counseling or diabetes education. But also, if you're a dental patient or a behavioral health patient, you would be able to do that as well. And you can request that. It doesn't require a referral. I do also do group education. Every few months, I'll do a 4-week series of diabetes classes. And then I work with Native Health's Community Health and Wellness Division to collaborate. So this season we've been doing Lunch with Your Ancestors. So I've been working with produce from the garden to create some healthy recipes and recipe samples for attendees.
Oh, wow. That sounds also exciting. Tell us more about some of the programs that you offer, because I know you mentioned you do one-on-one and then the group series for 4 weeks and the Lunch with Your Ancestors. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on each of those programs?
Sure. So for the one-on-one counseling, that's really for anybody who has a nutrition concern. So if you feel like, let's say you had unexplained weight loss and you were concerned about it, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if you're looking to manage your weight or lose weight. And then, of course, pre-diabetes and diabetes are kind of my specialties. With diabetes education, we not only focus on what you're eating, but all the different factors that are going to affect your blood sugar. So we'll talk about medications, what kind of a routine would be helpful when it comes to checking your blood sugar, and what the different options are. There's a lot of new technology out there. So certain people will qualify for something called a continuous glucose monitor. So I can definitely help with the application of that and just how to wear it and use it. And then, of course, one-on-one meal planning is an option. I really try to focus on making small changes. So really, really helping someone with where they're at. I know a lot of people don't know what they're going to get when they see a dietitian, but my goal is to never change, what your normal foods look like. A lot of us have cultural foods that are really important to us. And so I would never suggest or encourage someone follow a completely different way of eating. It's really just making better choices within what your life already looks like and what's normal and comfortable for you. And then for our group education, I do a program called What Can I Eat? So it is very heavily focused on food again, just because there is a lot to cover. We talk about, putting together a healthy, balanced plate, beverages, sugars, label reading, which can really be a challenge. And that nutrition facts label has changed a lot over the last couple years. So really breaking it down so that it's practical for every day when you're looking at the back of a box or you're grocery shopping or you pick something out of a vending machine and you want to know how it's going to affect your blood sugars.
Oh, wow. That all sounds so awesome. And are all these programs available at all sites?
So right now they're in Central. Over the next few months, we'll be working on expanding to Mesa. And then, hopefully in the future, we'll get it going everywhere. But right now, there's just one of me. So I do offer telehealth visits for patients that are in West and Mesa and any of our other locations. And then people are certainly welcome to come here to Central as well, even if they typically go to our other clinics.
And is the diabetes program open to all ages or specific ages?
It is open to all ages, yes.
Awesome. And how does somebody go about enrolling into one of these diabetes programs?
Yeah, so for our community health and wellness programs, they're all listed on our Native Health newsletter, and they're typically posted on our Facebook and our Instagram, and they come with a registration link. So that's the best way to do it. However, if you were to just walk in, we would still sign you up and be happy to see you. And then when it comes to visits with me, just calling Native Health and asking to have an appointment with the dietitian or being transferred to me if you want to, talk to me more directly about what you're looking for. And then again, if you're seeing someone here for primary care, dental, or behavioral health, you can just ask to set up an appointment on your way out of our clinic at the front desk.
Okay. And we know that the holidays are right around the corner. Do you have any tips for healthy eating?
I do. When we think about healthy eating, we want to think holistically and think about all the different things that influence how and what we eat. The holidays are so tricky, mainly because we're going outside of our normal routine. We might be off from work or school, sometimes for several days in a row. We might have family visiting, or we're visiting family. We might be eating things that are not usually what we eat, right? A lot of times we'll have events at work, we'll have family events, and there's a lot of food. We certainly want to take part in those things and definitely not hurt anybody's feelings. But at the same time, we want to continue to be very mindful. Trying to still have a regular meal pattern and follow a schedule can make all the difference. I think a lot of times we overdo it with some of the foods around the holidays because we don't get them all the time, but also sometimes we try to make room for them in ways that aren't always productive. So saying, well, I'm going to skip breakfast and lunch so I can go all out with dinner and, eat all the pies. Unfortunately, with our blood sugar, that's going to be very detrimental versus taking that food and spreading it throughout the day so that, our body has more time to process it and bring that blood sugar back down. So try to have a protein-rich, nutritious breakfast on days when you have some type of holiday event. You're going to be surrounded by food. And then again, don't put too many restrictions on yourself. Don't say I'm not going to eat dessert, but maybe we don't get 3 desserts. Yeah. And if we're going to eat, let's say our favorite thing is sweet potato pie. We know that has a lot of carbohydrates. So maybe at our meal, we focus on more protein and vegetables and leave off some of the starches in our plate to leave room for that dessert. So instead of having turkey, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, a roll, let's say we pick our favorite. My favorite is macaroni and cheese. So I'm going to have some turkey. I'm going to pick a ton of greens and whatever salad and vegetables I can find. And then, make room for a little bit of dessert by not having so much of that macaroni and cheese. The other thing here is beverages. Let's stick to water. Let's stay well hydrated. Water is going to help to dilute our blood sugar. So really, really trying to watch our liquid calories. And if we're the person preparing the meals, of course, we're tasting throughout, but keeping track of all that tasting that we're doing, or maybe have a family member taste for us so we can sit down and properly enjoy our meal. Paying attention to what you're eating during the holidays can be hard. So, when you are spending time with family and friends, taking your time to eat, enjoy the conversation before you go and get a second plate or continue to serve yourself. So sometimes it's just the environment too. I know a lot of families have all the dishes out on the table where you can easily grab, but maybe we switch that. Maybe we put all the dishes on the counter so you have to get up to get a second portion. And on that note, think about movement. So if we're going to have a really nice decadent meal, can we plan for a walk afterwards? There are studies that show walking for just 2 to 3 minutes after meals lowers your blood sugar. So I know not everyone wants to go for a long walk after Thanksgiving, but maybe we go for just a short, family or friend walk.
Oh, wow. Those are some really great advice and tips. Thank you for that, Sumi. And thinking of somebody who is maybe preparing for these holiday meals, do you have an area in where someone can go to find healthy and budget-friendly recipes?
Definitely. So the American Diabetes Association has a database. It's called the Diabetes Food Hub. And you can just go to the American Diabetes website. I believe it's directly diabetesfoodhub.org. These are all budget friendly. There's not a ton of ingredients, so you don't have to buy a lot of stuff. And you can just go and search, and all of these recipes are filtered by dietitians to make sure, they're an appropriate level of carbohydrates, added sugars, saturated fat, sodium. Because typically when we have diabetes, we're not only worried about carbs, but we also want to keep our heart healthy. and make sure, our cholesterol and our blood pressure is in line. So these recipes look at all those different factors. And then, of course, keep a lookout on Native Health social media. We put out a lot of recipes and little cooking demos. And then for our events as well, we really try to keep our all of our recipes very healthy as well.
And finally, how can our listeners go? Where can they go to learn more about Native Health's medical and diabetes services, and how can someone reach you if they have further questions?
Yeah, so nativehealthphoenix.org is our website, so you can see kind of a snapshot of all of our different services. And then depending on the location that you're looking for, you can just give the clinic a call, say that you're interested in nutrition or diabetes services, and I'm happy to speak to you directly, or they can typically answer any questions that you have. And then our newsletter, again, also always is up to date with all of our upcoming events.
Oh, yes, definitely. And if anybody wants to call, the phone number to Native Health is 602-279-5262. But I would like to thank you, Sumi, for coming in today to give us a lot of great information about the programs and services you offer at Native Health and some great tips and advice for the holiday eating.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here again, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Native Talk Arizona, supported by Native Health and KRDP 90.7 FM. Audio editing by Javier Quiroga, and the executive producer is Susan Levy. And I'm host Lanasha Puwadi. We hope you tune in again next week. If you have any questions, please email us at nativetalkaz@radiophoenix.org.